couple years ago. We had a problem in 2020 that was
Oh, forgot what show I was on. Started the wrong intro. Anyway, yes, this is Dave, not in Cali. Just we're doing a pop-up live show here, so it may take a while for anybody to get in the comments. But the good thing about it is it'll keep playing, so people can see it later. But the purpose of this little show here is we're trying to help John down in Brazil to build up his channel after he got nuked. And a lot of people have been liking the show, a lot of good response. And so we're trying to get it out on some of our channels so that we'll send you guys over to that channel. And it's Jon in Exile. And let me see if I can find him here. Where is he? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, hey, I'm in Exile, all right.
Yeah, how'd you like that? Did you recognize that intro that I started earlier?
Yeah, it was excellent for Dave not in Cali. That was an excellent intro. That's part of life. You know, we've always done, there's been the group of us. We've always been doing these, and of course the tube catches up with us, nukes us, and then we're back up alive again, shooting from the hips the best way because, we're Americans and it's the way we are, I never liked the stuffed shirt stuff, but this is the easy way. But
well, let me real quick explain to some of the people that watch, my channel. I help produce a channel, and I've been participating in several channels, like what Jon is talking about, either as a co-host or behind the scenes, where I'll be running some of the things and putting things up on the screen and comments and so forth. But Jon's show, we're trying, not necessarily, but we're trying to keep it to about 4 people because it evens out on the screen. Nice. When we add a 5th person, it throws everything off and it makes it real small and so forth. So that's the reason why some of you guys don't see me on, because I would rather have the even keel on the screen. And of course, we try to keep different opinions spread out, from all parts of the United States. So, and Brazil. Anyway, our show, we've been on together we were Blue Collar Talks. We did Family of Conservatives. And now we're doing the Family Patriot, the Patriot Family Hour.
Patriot Family Hour, yeah.
Yeah, on Jon's channel. And it's basically the same group of people. It's William Archibald, of course, Jon. Occasionally, you'll see me. If somebody can't make it to the show, I'll fill the slot in. And you'll have Jennifer from Sweet Home, California. See, so California. Yeah. And then we have Southern Digest, which is Nina, which she's over in Alabama. And it just seems to be a really good, mix. And so anyway, we're here today to kind of help promote that. So if you guys don't know about it, go over to his channel. And of course, after the show, I'll make sure it's in the comment section and in the description as well, so that you have the link. But it's easy to find. Just look up American in Exile 2. Right? Okay. So now
one was nuked.
one was nuked, yeah.
So, wait a minute. Actually, American in Exile was nuked. Then American in Exile 1 was nuked. And American in Exile 2, which is this channel, actually has 2 strikes on it.
Yeah,
one more strike and it gets nuked. Should I be saying coming soon, American in Exile 3?
Yeah. Oh, well, don't talk it into existence.
Well, I'm telling you, I've learned a lot of what words you don't talk about. Things involving the jab. They definitely don't like that at all. And they're starting to, things that deal with Jeffrey Epstein, that's also another subject they do not like. And there's a few other things too. there's some words that just normal talking really are, it's actually horrible. You take the word like, I'll spell it, idiot, which means like, they don't like that word. And any words like that, because they feel that you're attacking somebody with that word. In other words, it's the algorithm that picks those things up. And it's really amazing because you can use it in different contexts. You don't have to say that you're DUMB. You could say like, that was a really a blank move on my part. But yeah, you can drop the F-bomb all over the place and then it just slides right by. That's what amazes me. You can drop the F-bomb. You can drop I call it too, the God bomb too, because as much cussing as I do normally, I've always refrained from using the God bomb. And it's just, I made a deal with God when I was a teenager, I guess it was, and it stuck that way. So, it's become a habit. But it's just amazing how certain things are you can let you go with, and then other things they don't. But it's just, like I said, it's amazing. But
and then there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that you don't realize unless you really get into the back room or the dashboard part of YouTube, and you'll see a place where it's there's, for example, comments that have been being held for review. The things that get triggered are unbelievable. They have an emoji that has a middle finger.
Yeah.
And if you use that emoji, it gets thrown over there. Now, for a lot of YouTube people that are doing it, they don't know, they don't go into that. They don't really look for it. They, maybe they don't know, are not aware of it or something. But I get comments, people saying, hey, every time I make a comment, it disappears.
Yeah, there you go.
And I don't go in and censor them. And so then as going through, I go, oh, look at this little tab. It says, comments for, held for review. So you go in there and you see that these comments are being held for various reasons. Somebody might call somebody SHIT head or something, or hole, or whatever the case may be, and it'll just automatically get withheld. But the crazy thing is the emojis are actually approved by YouTube, because if you take and click on and find out what the link is on the YouTube, on the emoji, it goes right to YouTube. It's on file. It's their thing, but yet they're censored out. But anyway.
Well, there's one other trick too that they use too for the copyrights. I want to quickly add that one in here too. When we post, at least when I'm posting a video, I post a video and I go through all the steps to go to, and then when it's finally finished, it goes through a little recycling period of like about 10 minutes or even a little bit less than that, and it shows whether it says made public. And it doesn't show anything about copyrights at all. And it says for public view, and it's open. In other words, good to go. And then you think you're fine and dandy. And about anywhere from 5 minutes later to 10 minutes later to an hour to even a month later, all of a sudden, boom, here it comes. Somebody claims that they own that as copyright, and you got a strike on it. You have in other words, literally, it comes out of nowhere. And even then, with the regular copyrights, now you would stop and think that with all that they've got nowadays with the artificial intelligence and with the algorithms, that if I make a video up there and I'm copywriting it, you damn well believe I'm going to put copyright on that from the get-go. So if you try to copy it, automatically it's not going to work. That's a very simple thing to figure out, but they don't want to do that, because this gives them the power. This gives them the power because they had to give up a little bit of our First Amendment rights back to us from some of the words that we used to use. So once again, they hit you pretty hard. And what's really funny, though, is one of the strikes that I got, both of the strikes I got were Christmas week. And one of them was Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, here's the strange thing about this. When Tucker was here in Brazil, Tucker had responded to me. He knows who I am. He knows who American in Exile 2 is. And yet I have maybe 40 or 50 cuts from his on my videos. And then when they came up with the new Tucker's TCN, I believe it's called, the new channel, I posted one of those. And all of a sudden, 5 days after I posted it, boom, I got a strike, and it pulled it right off. It said the owner of this thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm going, that's Tucker. And I even sent to the email address that they put on there, and I got no response. Going like, that's awful fishy. It's not like it's that. And another one was Christmas, with a beautiful Christmas display. And what I did was I basically was doing it for my subs. Christmas week, I was putting up some of the cartoon type stuff.
Yeah,
the one was a spectacular laser show with over a million with the lasers. Well, excuse me, with the what do you call it? Going brain dead on it.
The drones. They had the
drones. Yeah, the drones. And I mean,
and
it was actually done originally 8 years ago. 8 years ago, it was done, and I left all the credits at the end, everything to give them credits. Plus, I used the word. Now, here's another tricky thing too. When you're posting these videos, folks, you're actually using the share, whether you're using it to share or whether you're using it to post a video. You're using the share button. So you're thinking this share? It's not share. They should have something different. They got a little tricks of the trade here on this. And I'm hoping that they don't get mad at us for talking about this right now, but it is the truth. It is the complete truth. But I mean, then I put up there, and all of a sudden they hit boom, it disappeared. But there are other weird things that they'll do too. I've got them where it'll say copyright on, but yet the owner gives permission to use. Okay, that's cool. They put that up there, and then sometimes they've got one that even goes. It's called the copyright and 1+, and the 1+ is it is banned in one or more territories. So in other words, for instance, like here in Brazil you can't use it's blocked out. I believe I can even say the word RUMBLE, like bumblebee. It sounds like bumblebee, only the other word. That's banned here in Brazil. You can't use that. And that's the reason why I use the word bumblebee, because I don't want to hit the algorithm and go like, boom, you guys are gone again. But I mean, it's just it's such a pain in the butt. And even the big guys get hit too. Of course, some fight back, like Salty Cracker did. Salty Cracker beat him up pretty good with the lawsuit. And I'll probably get killed for that. I don't know. It's just a point that
there's another thing too with YouTube is you can appeal, and lots of times, I've done a lot of appeals and got them put right back on, and they agree because a human will come in and look, and maybe the algorithm got it wrong, or they don't see anything wrong with it. But then at the same time, if you have a lot of borderline videos and you appeal, now you have a human looking, and then they go through and they look at, various clips, and they just kind of go see, what you're all about and all that. And you might end up getting a couple of strikes that were something really, really old. I had one that was almost a year old after I appealed something else. So they reinstated one and took down another and gave me a strike.
Now, speaking about what's going on too, I want to talk a little bit here about a quick second here about the migrant situation and the illegals. Let me tell you, folks, I did a video this past week about what's going on, that there are probably most likely be over 1 million illegals from around the world coming into America. Let me tell you, I found out one of the answers to this. This past week, I noticed that we only have 2 restaurants, main-sized restaurants here in the little town that I live in. And the other nights, both of them were closed. They're never closed, except for Christmas Day. That's the only day that the places are closed. And I had no idea why they were closed. And I found out that the workers, which work for about 85 cents an hour, no longer want to work for them. They're leaving to go to America. And today I found out how they found out about this. I went to lunch today at you guys would call it back in America, truck stop, and which has good food. It's cheap, and it's basically not even a truck stop. But
wait a minute, John. What's cheap down in Brazil?
All right, it costs us $18 per person for buffet style, but that's only one plate. But the meat that you got on that is filet mignon, and the other called picanha, which is very expensive. And but that's that. But you only get one plate of the buffets here, and they don't leave. In other words, restaurants here, there's no tips. You don't leave tips in Brazil. That's a no-no. You don't. They work for that 85 cents an hour, and that's all they get. But even then, we only saw, when we were there today, we only saw 2 girls there. Not even though they're working the tables, somebody's got to bring the drinks over and stuff. And these girls were flying. There were only 2 of them. But anyway, my barber was there. And I was talking with him, and he said 2 of his 2 workers, 2 of his employees, he said he's by himself now. And I'm going like, why? And he says they went to California. I said, why did they go to California of all places? Because you know how we all know about what Newsom's doing and everything else. He says because they raised the wage to $20 an hour minimum. He said they're going to America to get rich. And if you stop and think about it, for 85 cents, I think the barbers make a little more money. I think they might make $2 per haircut. They cut an awful lot more hair for $20 an hour and a lot faster too. So, I mean, and they're, people, every place you can find a little hole in the wall. There are places that don't even have electricity. I shouldn't say electricity, that have hot and cold running water. Maybe that might be a difference. But they've got a cell phone. And if they got a cell phone, they know what's going on in America. They know what's going on in New York City.
Is that why you were saying? Is that why you were saying that the people in Brazil are starting to get mad at the United States? That's
we're having there's a little problem. The other night what happened was I heard first time F-bomb the Americans.
Yeah.
And who the people are is these are influential people that are mad. These aren't everyday citizens. These are the influential people because they can't find people to work their dress shops, their supermarkets. They can't find hey Bear, what's up? They can't find anything. They can't find help. And all their help is going to America. They are looking at America stealing their workforce. Yeah, you got to keep in mind, just like not like America hasn't done this before with Che Guevara and the rest of them out there in the California Pickers Association. They used to have for many years Arizona, New Mexico, all those states and border states brought in the Mexicans and the Guatemalans. Even Florida, they bring where the sugarcane fields are. Every year they would bring in the people from Jamaica to cut those cane fields. And they were stealing, America was stealing for the workforce. Now they're having that problem now. In other countries, it's now America's now hiring them to keep them there for permanent. And they don't like that.
The big question is, once they get here and become citizens, who are they going to vote for?
Well, that's another problem too. There was another video I put up that was in New York City in particular. And I've heard it here too from the coyotes that are here. Excuse me, not coyote. They're travel agents. Travel agents. Sorry about that. It's,
gotta watch it.
And what they do is they tell them, people are told that you are led into America by the Democrats. Now they also are switching back now to talking about Biden because they're getting ready to give them the vote. Now this is not just me. This is saying this. They are telling people that they're going to be able to vote. They're being told right here. They're going to be able to vote. Yeah. And they're going to be voting for Biden because Biden is the one that is letting them into America. Trump is bad. Trump is very bad. He hates the migrants and he's going to deport all of them. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
This is what they're telling
everybody.
But it's the point of the 2 major words. Trump hates migrants and Trump will deport them. And they're there by the millions. So it's it's not something that's taken lightly. And you stop and think about it. If you've got little or nothing and you manage to make it, now some of the people out there I hear, well, a lot of them are suffering. They're having to wait in the camps and it's cold and whatever. Let me tell you, literally millions of them are sitting real pretty. They're getting that monthly check. They don't have to work. They got a nice place to live in. They're driving around in a car. Basically, they're off the radar and they're living fine. No complaints. And that's not a good thing, folks. And now they're starting. I heard too that in California now they're getting ready to hire a bunch in Los Angeles of the migrants to become police officers. They aren't legal, but they're going to be carrying guns and be pulling your ass over for traffic tickets and whatever. That's not going to work out too well. Yeah, literally. Stop. That's it's just everything is so upside down. And I mean, just
President-elect James
President-elect James H. Dropping by to show some love. We appreciate it. We do. We really appreciate it. We just came out here, James. We just came out here today just to shoot the breeze a little bit, just talk a little bit, find out if anybody's got any comments or whatever. Because our Thursday night show has been going real well, and it's like I said, we're just trying to find out what you guys want to hear, and we're here to help you.
Well, now it's been kind of like almost maybe not quite doubling every week. Would you say?
We almost tripled this week.
Total views for the whole week.
Oh yeah. I mean, we'd like to do this every day or 2 or 3 times a week, but as of right now, we just don't have the manpower to do it. But like I said, that at least we've got one night a week, and we're doing the best we can. And eventually, maybe we may be more days, but for right now, we're doing it this way.
So what's this that you're saying? President-elect term somehow worked for Biden, so I figured I'd give it a shot. All right.
Oh, that's that. I like that one. Susie, how you doing? Afternoon.
Yeah. Well, few people we recognize popping in.
Hey.
We appreciate it. So
it's
go ahead, John.
No, it's but things are really things are turning really bad and dire right now because we've got a major problem. A lot of people do not realize what's actually really going on in DC. It's down to the point now where Trump is getting ready to rise above all this. And I literally mean he's getting ready to rise above it. We've got Jack Smith. As much as we hate the guy, we couldn't find anything that could pin on him until now, because it is a truism that Merrick Garland did not have the authorization to make him special counsel. It's against federal law. He did not, in other words, it did not go through the regular process. And that's coming up, I believe, the 9th of this month. And if not, again, I guess in February, that Jack Smith will most likely be thrown off the case because he is there illegally. That is a fact.
Right. I remember bringing
and
all
that's
that
coming
up.
up. And he's just doing everything. And not only that, Jack Smith is just so frustrated. There's a stay on the particular trial coming up from March. And it's in limbo. In other words, the way this works in law is when something is a stay or it's in limbo, that's it. You don't talk about it. You don't do anything about it until the judge says, okay, we're to go back up there in a couple of more months. We're going back in January or whatever of the next year. But until that time comes, the judge tells you to shut your mouth and you don't do anything. But yet Jack Smith keeps on filing more papers and more papers. In other words, to get discovery. And he's getting it from Trump's people. And Trump's people they filed against him. They filed yesterday, as a matter of fact, that they want him. They're They're suing him. They're suing Jack Smith on top of it all. Most likely that's going to fall apart. And even George is starting to get some more problems on their hands. Raffensperger, there's supposedly a new tape out there, the original tape that somebody's squealing on him. And which, of course, I still remember when I first heard that tape go, I said, this sounds awful lot like somebody setting him up. Especially, it sounds like Raffensperger was setting him up. But everything's falling apart.
Well, we got to stop for a minute and address the cat in the room. Some people have noticed that I wear a cat shirt a lot.
Yeah, well, that's obvious.
I have about 8 of them. So, I wear it a lot, yeah. So, but that's from my construction days. Of course, I'm retired now, so I'm doing something completely different. Anyway, I just had to answer that question.
Well, we've got 2 cats here.
So, the other thing is all these coming out that. Did you notice? I posted earlier about CNN. There's 5 people that came out and filed. For Trump not to be on their ballot, and we're thinking 5. But you know what they used as a headline? It said voters. Yeah, it's like their trick of making it sound like all the voters in Illinois wants Trump off the. But then you read through the whole article, and way down in the article it mentions, that five voters, and actually it just says 5 person or 5 people. So it's kind of funny how they still manipulate what they put out, even though their ratings are tanking. They're trying to make the sensationalism offset their tanking, and I don't think it's working. But anyway,
well,
you know what? If you don't want Trump on the ballot, just simply don't vote for him. You don't have to vote for him because he's on the ballot.
That's what democracy is all about: the freedom to be able to put yourself up there. And but here's the other thing too that a lot of people do not realize. I see all the negatives about people talking, say, it's Article 3 of the 14th, and whoa! Everybody's got to stop and think. Stop and think. If you've got the amendments and you've got the Constitution, where do you begin with anything? And with the Constitution, you start at the beginning. Article 1 of the Constitution of the United States is plain and simple. You got to start there before you get to Article. Got to go to 2 and 1 before you get to Article 3. Article 1 says that every American deserves and gets due process. Due process means your day in courts. That's cover quick with no excuses. But yet these people tend to work. Well, it says right here this. They're just like they've done with everything else with Donald Trump. They have twisted things like what they've done in New York. Well, he might have in other words, a misdemeanor is what the transactions he had in the bookkeeping department. Well, according to New York, even his acknowledging a payment, say thank you very much for your payment, is a crime, which is crazy. And then they are waiting for Georgia to find him guilty on something that's a felony, and then they do what they call bootstrapping, and they combine the misdemeanor in New York with the felony, which is federal, and they have a new charge for Trump, which is, They are so far. They are stretching this stuff, folks.
That just proves, John, that they are grabbing at strength. Because they're going so hard against Trump. You know that they're desperate. They've gotten really desperate, and Biden is, his approval rate is just completely tanked, and it's getting worse by the day. Did you see that last video that came out where he got off the plane or off the helicopter, and he turned around, looked at the helicopter, and it was like, well, who put that there? Or is Obama here? I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. And then he goes over and starts whispering in the ear that guard there.
And what about his speech yesterday at Valley Forge? What the hell is he thinking? And I just put a video out earlier today about that. Jill gets off by wearing a red coat. Think about this. Valley Forge, red coat. Red coats, Valley Forge. Anybody get it? King George, England? I mean, come on. Of all the colors to wear, she wore a long red coat, which is exactly the color that the red coats when we were fighting the Revolutionary War. I mean, these people are brain dead. They aren't thinking. And then he spent his entire time talking about Donald Trump did this and Donald Trump that, and he's going to do this to you if he gets in there and that. I mean, it sounds to me like, huh? If you're running for office, or if you're looking for a job, do you talk about? Well, I saw Susie sitting out in the waiting room out there, and she's no good. She didn't do good on her last job, and she didn't do this, and she didn't do that, and I heard she was fired 5 times. This potential boss is going to hire you because she's no good. You say, what about your attributes? Biden has nothing to talk on for himself. Nothing. Yeah. That's the reason why. Even then, which is actually phony too, is if you look at some of the quote unquote statistics, like for instance, job rate, the jobless rate. Well, it's up by 16%. In other words, it's the lowest it's been, 3.7. Well, geez, if you look at the bottom line of where all the people went, there are over 700,000 people that are no longer looking for a job. They're back on welfare or on Social Security or whatever it is. And then there's the others that have been working 2 jobs. That's the reason why there aren't that many jobs left, is because people are taking 2 and 3 jobs apiece. So I mean, when you look at they're picking out a statistic from here, another one from there, and they're saying, well, look at this and look at this, but they don't put them all together on the same page for you. It's just absolutely crazy how they. In other words, it's like they did with the January 6th tapes. They edited them to show you just exactly what you want. They love that one picture of people hanging from the wall, and I shouldn't say the wall, from the staircase on going to the Capitol. They love showing that one. They love to show where the tear gas was, but then they don't show you the other 499,000 people that are just mulling around, going like, "Well, what's going on?" Unbelievable, folks. I cannot. By the way, speaking of that too, Jacob Chansley is from Arizona, and he's running for Congress. That's right. Yeah. The shaman is running for Congress.
I saw that. But another interesting thing that I found out is Ray Epps acquired a ranch out in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like what? All of a sudden.
He got money all of a sudden. He's got money. But this is something. But here's one thing that I know of, and I'm going to make sure that certain Congress people and that Trump actually knows about this when it comes to the time. Just like Kathy Hochul, governor of New York, made up that new ruling that lasted for only a year. That, in other words, victims of violent crimes, it made no difference about the statute of limitations. They could come back and sue civilly, what have you, for 1 year. Remember that? Yeah. This was brought up by, and all of a sudden a woman claims something from 30 years ago. Stop and think about this. 30 years ago. And she never bothered before. She didn't bother within the 7-year statute of limitations, but she's going to bother 30 years later. Anything to get Trump. Well, guess what? What goes around comes around. Everything that they've taught us a lot. They've taught us how to circumvent things, and they've taught us new tricks. Yes, old dogs can learn new tricks. So just think about this. Boom, somebody like Ron DeSantis or Huckabee from Arkansas, Sanders Huckabee. Just think about there are Republican governors out there that just are waiting for the time for Trump to get back in and go like, oh, by the way, here's a new ruling that's good for a year. If this happened or that happened, and watch the shit hit the fan, so to speak. All these things are going to come to fruition, folks. Trust me on this. Donald Trump is not letting this go lightly. For what he's been through, and a lot of the rest of us have been through, we've been through hell. And we're going to continue even worse than hell until this comes up, because nobody really knows what's going to happen, because the Democrats cannot afford, and I repeat this, not as something bad, but as something that is inevitable. Donald Trump gets in office, it's all over with for certain people. And I mean, we're talking jail time. We're talking about having their entire fortune stripped from them. We're talking about the Pelosi's. We're talking about the Jamie Raskins. We're talking about the Schumers, the Schiffs. All these people that are liars. And don't think for 1 minute there aren't Republicans on that list too, like Mitch McConnell or McCarthy.
But I don't think it would happen that fast, John. Number one.
No, it's going to take time. It's going to take time.
Yeah, but they will make it drag out. And
that's right.
Against him for trying to do this, and it'll get into all sorts of litigation. I mean, sure, he could start it, but he needs to move on.
But some people should be charged with treason. They're actually, if everything that I've been told and what I've seen that leads to Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff and Schumer, the three of them pretty much seem to be the circle that actually did involve with this whole January 6th thing. They're the circle. Not that others didn't know that they're the circle. And they need to be brought to justice. They literally do. Because that was pure treason. And in my opinion, look, the death penalty, I'm not exactly here nor there for the death penalty. But when it comes to treason, from what I've done for our country, what they've done to our country, I am permanently for exactly what they would have done back in the day. Hanging.
Yeah.
Hanging. I would love to see Nancy Pelosi dangle if she is found guilty of treason. I use the word if she is found guilty of treason. And Adam Schiff, if he is found guilty of treason. I mean, that is the most heinous crime, because other crimes generally are against one or a couple of people. This crime has been against the American people, each and every one of us. Everybody who's lost their house like me, everybody who's lost their job like other people, everybody who's misplaced or lost money, whatever, it's been at their hands. Had they not done what they did for the C-election in 2020, which, by the way, is coming out slowly but surely, we need our own person back in the White House, and then we need to control Congress at least. And that way we will be able to get the complete truth out. But a lot of people don't realize that it takes time. It takes time. All of us have been on hopium for the last 3 years. Now we just have to sit back and let the ride take us into November.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's we get frustrated, but all we can do is hope for the best. I'm just, there's several concerns. I think if any of these things get overturned early before the actually election cycle cuts off the cases and so forth against Trump, and he starts gaining ground, I think things are going to get real dangerous for President Trump.
They are right now.
I really worry about it. But at the same time, even if let's say we go through the election, right? And we've learned a lot from what has happened in the past. And now if we see all shady stuff going on, and we see that the courts and so forth are kind of upholding the liberal side of things and saying, oh, you don't have standing and stuff. We, the people, are the ones who really decide that. And I think what would happen is it would push us to a point where people will say enough's enough and this is bullshit. They're going to stand up and stuff's going to just hit the fan. I think the government's worried about that too. I think that stuff is just going to go to hell in the handbasket really quick. Well, and even go ahead.
This goes back to about 3 years ago, to the beginning. I don't know how many of you out there remember the name David Jose.
Oh yeah.
Okay, David Jose. A lot of those names are gone. They're in the background because they've been taken care of. Their First Amendment rights have been taken care of. But trust me, that they're still there. David Jose taught me and a whole bunch of other people what everything is all about. It's called subpoenas. Makes no difference who you are. You can hand a subpoena. Now, even though I know some people are going to say, like, well, Hunter Biden didn't pay attention to the subpoena. Well, it's not over with for Hunter Biden. It might be another month or so, but eventually they have to answer the subpoenas. If they don't, they can be in big trouble. If we are right, yeah. We've got to learn once. Okay, now we're in the fighting stages of fighting back for our country and getting our own president back. That's what we need to do. Our focus should be on let's get as many people to vote for Trump as we possibly can. Once we have Trump back in office, it's now not only we have our man in Washington that has the pen, which is called the executive order. He can do a whole lot of things with that executive order. As fast as Trump has had the border closed on him, he can reopen it with the swift movement of his pen. The same with the Keystone Pipeline. Biden closed it. First thing he did, close it. Guess what Trump's going to do? He's going to open it back up. Right. All these things are good.
I think right there, you just pointed out something that I think we should be able to fix that, in the fact that, sure, a president can write an executive order, but I think that that law should be changed. I think it should be changed to the point where, sure, he can make an executive order against an executive order, but it automatically goes to the people rather than just to the president alone. And I think that's changed. So, because otherwise you get the parties just fighting. Okay, well, we'll nullify everything the last group did, and we'll nullify. But I think it should be put up at that point. It should be put up for the people to decide.
Well, one of the major things that they're going to have to turn around and change is What we've gone through for 4 stinking lousy years, Americans should never have to put up with this ever again. Never. We should have some kind of a safety valve that says, uh-oh, we got a problem here, folks. Something's rotten. Let's take care of it now. In other words, the first moment I knew there was a problem, because my father was a Supreme Court judge, literally, when I heard the word no standing, I'm going like, what? A Supreme federal judge, remember Roberts did that all the way at the beginning with the election? He said they don't have any standing. And I knew right then and there, we're in for big trouble, because the Supreme Court is supposed to be there for the people, and especially the ones that have been appointed for life. They're supposed to be above reproach. You can't threaten and say, well, we're gonna fire you, or we're gonna do this and that. Just tell them to go to hell. They're there for life. These are the people that we have to rely on. But I think we need a little bit more than just that, because we've learned that, yeah, they're there for us, and hopefully they'll do the right thing and take care of Trump on this particular thing with the ballots. But still, we should not be. They should be making a decision on the spot, and these vacations and stuff that they've been taking. Oh, we need a little time off for 3 months and 2 months. No. When there's a problem with our country, we have an open border, which is an invasion. That's another thing too. Biden is definitely guilty of treason. That open border, and he's, you can't tell me that he doesn't know what's going on with that. Whether he's in charge of it or not, he's still the president of the United States, and by law, that border must be safe and it must be closed. He has opened it. He has made it open. He has made nothing. He has made no movements to close that. And therefore, he is, by law, guilty of treason. And I have a feeling, this is the other thing, too, that I've been thinking about. I do, but I don't. Should it happen to be that any state keeps Trump off the ballot, for a fact that matter of fact, up to 27 states, which are Republican-run states, will pull Biden off the ballot, and there will be no election. So I'm wondering if you stop and think about this.
You still have the right for write-in. So those who want Biden, they can write him in, and those that want to write Trump in, they can write him in.
And guess what? That would be the biggest.
Really slow down.
That would be horrible. Think about it. We know how many people really vote for Biden. Now, what do you think is going to happen if the people, supposedly 81 million people, are going to show up to handwrite ballots in? They better start making their ballots up now and get their trucks ready, literally.
Yeah.
But it's not going to stop and think. But there are a lot of people in Washington that know what's going on. They know what's coming up. They know how to counteract a lot of things. Some things that are perplexing to me are things like, we haven't heard much from Jim Jordan lately. Comer's starting to stay a little bit on the silent side. Marjorie Taylor Greene, even though she's still a staunch supporter, she's becoming a little bit. Things are something's going on in D.C. that we're not aware of. And I don't like the silence of it. It's better that they talk to us and give us a bunch of side talk than they stay silent, because silence can be deadly. Yeah, I like. Yeah, there you go, James. Yeah. Well, let's.
That's a good one.
I do want. Here's something that I've never told anybody before, but I will right now. My ex-wife, of course, died some years ago. I found out that she voted. I don't know who for, but she voted in the last election, and she was deceased at the time.
Wow.
So go figure. So that is, when you stop and think about that, I don't want to die and vote for Biden.
Yeah.
There's too many things. They, whatever they say, they've done it themselves. And it's just, but we need to be careful. We need to watch what's going on, because there's a lot of things going on now. They're not going to go down. The Democrats are not going to go down easy. They're not. Pelosi's been quiet. Schumer's been quiet. All these characters are quiet. All of a sudden, the only person sticking up for them right now was all by himself with 2 people yesterday, was Jamie Raskin for January 6th. Now stop and think about it. They told us there's going to be a whole big, press conference. And I watched it. As a matter of fact, it's going to be one of the videos I'm going to be putting up today. there's only like there were like 3 or 4 hecklers, and they actually got to Raskin, and they weren't that bad. They actually got to Raskin, and it's just the point of this is all the amount. There were no people saying Biden this or whatever. It was pathetic the amount of people that showed up. This is for their big January 6th, ordeal on the Capitol steps. There was nobody there. As soon as the press left, there were, honest to God, there were like 4 or 5 people there. Unbelievable. They couldn't have thought about hiring maybe 20 or 30 more people to make it look like a crowd. No, it's crazy. They're getting away with everything, but now they're getting away with nothing.
Here's another one. Set your dead free. Let them vote Republican.
Yeah, there you go, Bear. Yeah.
Hey, well, you know what, guys? This was supposed to be a little quick promo for Jon's channel, and
45 minutes.
Said that. We're trying to steer everybody over to Jon's channel to get it subscribed up so you can watch the Patriot Patriot Family Hour. I always get it reversed, which we have a group of people that talk on every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern and 3 p.m. California time or Pacific time. And then if you're in any time zone in between, you have to do the math and figure it out. But anyway, this turned into we've been on here for like 46 minutes. You know, we can talk all day. Jon and I are both kind of retired, so we can talk all day. But anyway, I really, really appreciate everybody that came out. And yes, I will be putting the link to his channel. I should have done that in the description before we started this, but I didn't know it was going to go this direction. But I will put it in there. But you can find him. It's American in Exile 2. Okay, so that's.
And by the way, I picked up since Thursday night. Since Thursday night now, I picked up 42 more subscriptions.
Well, that's good.
That's not bad.
Yeah. They want. Let's see. He wants to know if you're on Twitter, Jon.
No, here in Brazil, we're blocked from Twitter, and Rumble. Whoop! I said the Bumblebee one.
You said the R word.
I said the R word.
In case guys are wondering, Rumble has been banned in
you
Brazil.
You said the Bumblebee word.
Yeah, well, it's okay. I'm in the United States. I can say it. So, but you don't have a Twitter account, do you, Jon?
No, it's I have a Twitter. I've got Twitter and I have Bumblebee, but I don't. They're blocked here in Brazil.
Okay, so we need to look up President-elect James H. on Twitter. I'll do that after we get done. I'll send you the link, Jon.
Okay.
That way you'd have it, and we'll send him a link and maybe make a connection. We really appreciate it. I'm assuming your name is James. President-elect James H. And we really appreciate you tuning in. This was kind of an improv thing. And a lot of people just popped in for something that was unplanned.
Yeah, Dave and I have been around for a few years, but we keep on getting nuked.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're used to it. We've got all the battle scars.
Okay, yeah, he says it is James. All right, James, appreciate it. And we'll see you on both ends there. All right, well, we probably should wrap this up, Jon. Otherwise, you're never going to get that video out that you just promised everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I still got 2 more to do.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, same for us. Okay, guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe. That just kind of rolls off the tongue, at every show. Head on over to Jon's channel, and we'll see you on the next one. See you later. Bye-bye.
Peace.